Good morning and welcome to Daily Tanya. Today is Monday, the 24th day of Iyar. Last night we counted the Omer, 39 days to the Omer. Let's begin with Tzedakah, Gedela Tzedakah, Shemekareves Sageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So we continue today, chapter 51 in the Tanya. And yesterday, the Alter Rebbe raised the question, what does it mean when we say that God dwells in certain places? The dwelling of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, dwells in one place more than another, like in the Holy Temple, or like in a synagogue, in the places that where so when 10 Jews together, this is the Shekhinah dwells. What does that mean? If it doesn't, isn't God everywhere equally? And the Alter Rebbe began to explain, saying, in order to understand this, it says, Umi besari echeze eleika, I can see God from my flesh. So by understanding the human condition, the way the soul animates the body and vivifies the body, gives energy to the body, we can have an appreciation and understand what it means that God dwells in certain places. And of course, we're talking about also God dwelling on us, on each and every one of us, by doing the Torah and mitzvahs. So when we're talking about the metaphor, the example that it brings from the human, from humans, the way our system works. So a human being is a very complex being. We have so many things that we do. We think, we speak, we eat, we draw, we have all kinds of talents and everything. Where does all of this, where does it come from? Obviously, everything comes from the soul. The soul gives us, from the soul comes the different types of energy and abilities that we have, the ability to see, the ability to hear, to understand. And at the same time, there is the very essence of the soul is equally in every part of us. Just my toe is just as alive as my brain. Every part is equally alive. The neshama is everywhere. So basically what we can say is that when we're talking about the soul animating the body, we're at three different stages. There is the very essence of the soul. The essence of the soul is indivisible. It's a simple soul. It doesn't have in the soul all this complex, the complex and different. You can see in the soul the different divisions of what kind of powers is in the soul. That is why the soul is a very simple, it's beyond, it's above all these divisions. And yet, then there is the dwelling of the soul, a shine from the soul. There's a power, an energy from the soul that dwells in the person. Where is the central point where the soul dwells is in the brain. And then there is the revelation of those powers. The revelations of the powers means when the soul comes to become revealed. For example, the soul dwells in the brain, and in the brain there is also, it reveals those powers and those energies that are connected with the brain itself. For example, the power of thinking, concentrating is in the brain. But then in the brain, the soul comes there and dwells there with the potential to more individual powers, all of these complex powers that a person has. For example, the power of drawing. You have an artist. Where does the power of drawing become revealed? It comes revealed in his hand. But does the soul dwell in the hand? No. It is revealed through the hand. But in potential, it is there already in the brain. There is in the brain, there is this talent, this energy that comes from the brain, goes through the hand, that is already there in potential in the brain. It is there in a form of that it dwells there, it's in the brain. And from there it comes and it shines into the hands and into each and every other organ. So it's not that the hand defines the power. It is revealed in the hand. So let's see how the Alter Rebbe says this inside. Says the Alter Rebbe, Vehine, Alam shochas kol ataryag mini koichis v'chayus me'elam haneshama ela guf lachayesei. Oleo amru she'ika mishkana v'hashra'asa shel hamshocha zu v'gilu zeh u kuloi b'meichen shebareish. Now concerning the flow of all the 613 kinds of functional powers and vital forces which are drawn from the concealment of the soul, where they are previously hidden, and from where they are now drawn to the body to animate it. So concerning this flow, the sages have said that the principal dwelling place and abode of this flow and revelation is entirely situated in the brain of the head. This is when we're saying that there is a place where the soul dwells, is we're talking about this level of the soul's energy that comes out of the soul, the different types of powers and forces that comes from the soul, that it mainly dwells and mainly revealed in the brain, which is in the head. And therefore, says the Alter Rebbe, the brain receives first the energy of the soul, the parts of the light of the soul, the shine of the soul that fits to the brain. This type of energy that fits to the brain, meaning the kind of energy that it makes you think, it makes you understand, and so on. And in potential also, all of the forces, all of the energies of the entire body is included in the brain. And from the brain, it comes, this is this nerve center that comes and gives the energy to each and every organ. That's what Alter Rebbe says. And therefore, it is they, the brains, which first receive the power and life force appropriate to them according to their composition and character, namely the intellect, which is divided into the three intellectual faculties called Chabad. Chabad is Chachma, Bina, Das, the wisdom, the understanding, and the knowledge, which we explained many times, what it means, the different forms, the different levels of the intellect. They are all in the brain. And the faculties of thought, and whatever pertains to the brain, all these receive their life force from the soul before the other parts of the body. So it comes first in the brain. The neshama reveals itself in the brain first. And not only that, not only the parts of the intellect is placed and dwells in the brain, but the energy of the entire body is included in the brain. Not only this, but also the overall flow of all the individual streams of vitality to the other organs is also first included and enclosed in the brain of the head, before it becomes revealed in the individual organs. So again, you have the ability of seeing. The sight is in the brain. And then it comes in and becomes revealed in the eyes. This is why in the Mishnah, the Mishnah refers to a blind person in Aramaic. It says Sagi Nahor. Sagi Nahor means a lot of light. You're saying a blind person has a lot. They call him a person has a lot of light. So it can sound like using some sarcasm, but it's not. A blind person, the reason why the person is blind, in certain cases for sure, is the fact that the eye is not capable of receiving and is not capable of being a vessel to the sight the energy of the sight that comes from the brain. So sometimes the sight is too strong and too very powerful, so the physical eye is not a vessel enough, not qualified to receive that powerful energy. So it could be a person that is a blind person has more power of light than a person who is not blind. So the point is that all of the energies that comes to the individual organs, the individual energies it's not something that is a separate entity that comes and develops in the organ. It is everything already included in the brain. And from the brain, it shines this particular energies to the different organs. And it is there in the brain that the core and source of the said flow exists in a form in which the light and vitality of the entire soul are revealed. In other words, when the general flow of vitality reaches the brain, then the light and vitality of the entire body begin to be revealed. So again, in the brain, what is really revealed? Those energy that fit to the brain, like the thinking and understanding. The other types of vitalities, the other types of energies, they come from the brain and they begin to be revealed, but they shine to the other organs of the body, and there it becomes totally revealed. That's what it says. From there, from the brain, radiates flow to all the other organs, each of which then receives the functional power and vital force appropriate to it according to its composition and character. The power of sight is revealed in the eye, the power of hearing in the ear, and so on. But all the functional powers flow from the brain, as is known. Because there, in the brain, is located the principal dwelling place of the entire soul in a revealed form. So although the soul actually exists all over the body equally, with no difference between one organ and another, yet the principal place in which the soul is revealed is in the brain. So it becomes revealed there, and it becomes in the brain. You have it becomes defined the different types of powers. Since there in the brain, the overall life force which flows from the soul is revealed. It is only the individual faculties of the overall life force which shine forth and radiate from the air, from the brain, to all the organs of the body. Just as the light radiates and shines from the sun into the innermost of rooms. In other words, just like in the sun, the light of the sun, when you see the sun in the room, you see the light in the room, you don't actually see the sun itself, but it doesn't mean that the light is a separate entity from the sun, which is obviously not. The light of the sun comes from the sun. And the same thing is all of the individual particular energies that each organ receives. Although it may seem like it's a separate entity, a separate energy that comes to the particular organ, but it's all coming from the brain, and the brain controls it. And Alter Rebbe goes on to say that even the heart, which is also a central organ, something that animates the whole, vitalizes the body, but still the heart also receives from the brain, and for that reason, the brain controls the heart, which is a concept in Hasidus that tells a person that the mind controls the emotions. A person can control his emotions, control his different faculties with the mind, with the brain, because this is how it works. Even physically, that the brain receives from the heart. The heart receives from the brain. That's what Alter Rebbe concludes here. Even the heart, which is a central organ from which all other organs receive vitality, the heart diffuses to all organs, but even the heart receives its own vital force from the brain, which is why the brain naturally dominates the heart, as explained above. In chapter 12, it was explained that man is created with a natural supremacy of brain over the heart. You can control what you want. And the reason is explained here because the heart, despite its centrality, it must in turn receive its own vital force from the soul through the medium of the brain. So this is the end of today's shir. Tomorrow, Alter Rebbe will take this example that we used from the human souls, and we'll understand more the way Hashem, the way God dwells in this world. Thank you for joining. We'll see you tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem.